Sorry for the delay, everybody. A few technical issues. We're trying to get Jay in the room, but it's not working. I don't know what's happening. We're going to keep try and get him on as the show goes on. We're talking Ten Hag being absolutely fed up with the situation as it is right now. Manchester United just carrying on as normal because we're talking transfers tonight as well. And while all this is going on, Ten Hag is just sat there wondering whether he's going to be Manchester United manager come this season. We've got strikers to get through, best options in them. There's already a poll going on in the chat, so make sure you get voting on that. Subscribe to Forever United TV so you can get involved in the live chat, and make sure if you are playing catch up and watching later on that you get involved as well in the chat and give me your top striker targets. Right now we're going with Jonathan David, Ivan Toney, Joshua Zirkzee, and of course, who was the last one actually? I forgot who else I put in the buddy in the poll there for a minute. So yeah, Robbie. That's the one. It's one that I probably look at and go, like everybody else, because he's at 6% at the moment. That's the one I probably don't want. But hey, it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, he is a target, and like you can see, we're going through all of the rumours and what's been said about these striker targets tonight. That has come from, driven from, obviously, Erik Ten Hag, another player that he knows. Now, that's a recipe for disaster enough to send a shiver down anyone's spine regarding Ten Hag continuing. And that method of transfers and so-called targets coming from him and what he's worked with and knows from his previous time in the Eredivisie. As we know, that does not work at all at Manchester United and has been proven to fail pretty much in terms of who has come through from the Eredivisie. Thought he was good and then collapse. And nothing happening at all. One of these strikers, Joshua Zirkzee, is supposedly Manchester United's top target. Now, I have gone into more detail, and there's an extra bit of content coming up later tonight at 9 o'clock, guys. I'm going to start doing a bit more of a look and a bit more of a player profile deep dive into certain players, their qualities, why we're looking at them, and why they fit in at Manchester United. The pitfalls and the positives, you could say. So that's coming out at 9 o'clock tonight. To start off the show, though, I want to be talking at Ten Hag, the situation we're in, where he is at more to the point tonight, and how he sees things, because there's lots of rumours going around at the moment that Ten Hag is just fed up with the situation. He wants clarity. He wants clarity now as to what is going on. There's lots of reports today going around that Ineos have just not been able to find a suitable replacement for Erik Ten Hag. And this is the problem that they've come up against. And I think they ultimately have created a big issue for themselves now. So Ten Hag's looking in the end, he's just going to be like, well, I told you so. I could have told you was the best option. So apparently Ineos have been talking and haven't been impressed with the people that they've been talking to, manager-wise. We know about the fallout with Thomas Tuchel. We know about the Pochettino one drifting away. Obviously, there are other managers that we have been speaking to. We heard about Potter earlier on in the year. Obviously, Southgate's been hot topic, but he has been put to bed this morning, according to accounts, and that he doesn't fit in timescale-wise for Manchester United. So, yeah, realistically, right now, I can see why Ten Hag would be a bit pissed off and he's fed up of the situation. He could be organising himself for another club right now. And that's the one bit that I sort of do feel sorry for him a little bit with, is that, you know what, if anything, he could have already got himself in position and negotiated a new contract elsewhere. Right now with Ineos, I just feel like I've not got an issue with the process. Speaking to other managers, I don't feel sorry for Ten Hag in that side of things at all. Like, this is a big club and we need a plan B. What I do have a problem with is the fact that Ineos have gone about this now at this stage. Like, this should have been happening a long, long time ago. If you wanted a new manager, which they would have, so it makes complete sense in what I'm saying, because if you decided to go and speak to managers after the FA Cup final, that was probably the highlight of the season. If anything, you should have already been speaking to representatives of other managers before the end of the season. So that's the worry I've got with Ineos right now. I'm not really in on Ten Hag tonight, or wanting to talk about him personally and what he has and hasn't done in a season. The problem we've got is that Ineos don't seem to, between them, have any idea where to go next, and that's the big concern. For them to come out and reports to come out and say that they do want to replace Ten Hag, that's a worry straight away, because if it does fall down, we have no one left. Is it going to be a massive risk that we just sack Ten Hag with no idea who else is coming in? Yes, of course, it's a massive risk. Better having a manager than none. Jesus, like, we are struggling to find candidates that fit what Ineos want. But Christ, we at least need someone in situ going into this season. I was talking on Ten Hag earlier on TalkSport earlier on this morning about Ten Hag, and I think with Dean Saunders asked me the question. He just said, "Look, do Ineos have to come out and announce anything? He is the manager of Manchester United at the moment." As far as it goes on paper, he's contracted to the club and they don't have to make any announcement, and they may see it that way. It makes perfect sense. We have alluded to that before on shows, and they don't have to come out and say anything because Ten Hag is the manager, and they may see it like that. But earlier on today in the other show, I was talking regarding Ineos coming into Manchester United. I'm thinking that they're doing good and acting the way that a proper structure should run. They think they're actually doing well right now, but I've underestimated the monster which is Manchester United, which is what happens when you come to United. Everything ends up being outed. No matter what you think you're doing behind the scenes and working hard behind the scenes and what in your eyes is well and for the good of the club, it doesn't matter because it gets leaked out and then it gets spread everywhere, and then everyone drops opinions in and the pressure ramps up and up and up and up, and then you have to deal with it. And it's changed from what you're doing behind the scenes, gets out in the media, circulates through the fan base, social media, everything like that. Different stories get made of it, different angles get put into the equation, and all of a sudden it comes back to Ineos and they're like, where's this come from? Well, that was that little snippet of news that got leaked out of the football club. It's done a full cycle through the world of football media, social media, fan debate, and come back as this. You have not got a clue what you're doing, when really you think you know what you're doing. And that's what being Manchester United owner, manager, player, everything that is to work at Manchester United, that's what it is. That's what I was alluding to earlier on. And to us, it looks like they haven't got a clue right now. But to them, they're probably thinking, this is just normal day. We're doing a good job here. There is no one out there, I'm telling you right now, that Ineos are going to be fully impressed with. They need to make a decision on how to change Ten Hag's structure of his contract. Worst case scenario right now for me. They need to get on with it. De Zerbi, I have got an issue with. I've made it very, very clear to everyone my opinion on De Zerbi. There's something missing in that guy for me that I don't like. Like, if anything, I cannot say anything about Ten Hag and big up De Zerbi, because De Zerbi's had injuries this season, so has Ten Hag. I've been a big argument against the injury excuse all season, as you know, and De Zerbi's had injuries as well. But De Zerbi's finished worse than Erik Ten Hag this season, and probably a bigger drop-off than what we had, which is crazy to say, from last season and expectation-wise. So I look at this and I go, well, if Ten Hag has failed with the injuries and as a manager this season, so has De Zerbi. And it's exactly the same for me. I've not got an issue in replacing Ten Hag with a better manager. I need to make that clear, and everybody knows my stance on that. But when I'm comparing him to everybody else, I just don't see the improvement. You will get a style of play, I think, quicker with De Zerbi. I personally still don't think we've got the player profile to play De Zerbi football anyway, so he's going to struggle at the start. So that's my stance on the manager side of things. The biggest concern I've got, though, is that Ineos, I think Ineos have it just looks to me like they've bitten off more than they can chew right now. That's what it looks like. I'm just going to quickly check, see if we've got Jay. Man, I'm gutted that we can't get Jay on. I'm just going to try something quickly, guys, just to see if Jay is about. I don't know why he's not linking in today. Something technology-wise has definitely scuppered us. Just going to see if he's got any messages. Right, Jay's going to keep trying. Damn it. I really wanted to ask him a few questions tonight. We'll have to iron out the bugs. If Jay doesn't manage to come on, we'll iron out the bugs and we'll get him back on again through the week. There's plenty to talk about that I want to speak to Jay about as well. I was looking forward to that. We have a super chat in from the Honest Tiger. Let's just bring that up first of all. It says, "Hi Adam, here is £10 for one lucky member to win a mug. Can you do a comp? All they got to do is tell you who will United get first game of the season, Tuesday 18th, when fixtures come out." I think I will do that in the weekend show, definitely. I think Sunday show, when we do most of our stuff, most of our big content, I think we'll get into that and we will announce that. Thank you very much, The Honest Tiger. I will put that away and gladly hand over a mug on a competition winner. So we'll do the comp, we'll explain the rules all on Sunday, and then when the day comes next week when the fixtures are announced, we'll have everybody's guess in there and we'll see who wins the mug. Thank you very much for that, mate. Really appreciate that. 15 likes away from the 100 already, guys. Just on 10 minutes, almost there already. Please get liking the video and let's get on with your comments as well. I've explained my situation. I've explained the situation how I see it in terms of Ten Hag. Guys, get your comments in now regarding what's happened today with everything going on behind the scenes, and still no word from Ten Hag. Is he at Carrington? Nobody's seen him anywhere. There's no pictures apart from that pointless picture of him on his holidays in Ibiza with his wife. Like, let the guy have an holiday, for God's sake. No one cares about that picture. There are accounts actually on Twitter right now that are benefiting and getting money off that picture of Ten Hag having a meal with his wife on holiday. Yeah. The ferocious. No tears for Ten Hag. He didn't even believe Ronaldo's baby was ill. We don't know about that. I mean, Ronaldo could have definitely elaborated on that one, but you're not going to get any sort of favouritism from the Ronaldo camp with Ten Hag. We know that for certain. Michael says only a new contract for Ten Hag might smooth things over now. Talking to other managers while United have a manager is crazy. I think what Ineos have done, Stephen, is talk to managers thinking that they could do that, which they are allowed to do, expecting, like I said, not for it to come out. But I think the reality is they're going to learn a lot from this summer and this first window as Manchester United co-owners and in charge of the sporting side of things at the football club, because they're going to realise that this isn't a normal football club or sports enterprise at all. It is the beast in all sports, and that's what United is. John James, welcome to the Members Club, gifted by the Honest Tiger. And Darren Hare, also welcome to the Members Club, my friend. He has just joined himself as well. Love that. Thank you so much, Honest Tiger, again for the super chat and for that membership donation. And welcome to the Members Club, guys. Cheers, Darren, as well. Love it. I hate the transfer window, says Lilies United. Yes, we all hate it. Could it be that Wilcox affected them the last 3 games? Huh? In what way? Like the way we played? Like the style of play? And what he was asking Ten Hag to do? Are you saying that that's how you see it going further down the line with Ineos' control? Like dictating on how they get possibly more out of Erik Ten Hag and in terms of the style of play? I get that. I do. I get that. I expected this second season Fergie would have sacked in social media. Was brought in his day 10th, I think. Please keep Ten Hag. He is the correct man. He wasn't correct last season in what he was saying, though. That's the thing. He was filling us with a lot of crap, wasn't he? And telling us we were watching something completely different than we was. I won't forget that, and I'll never forget that. Leaf says, far too much of emphasis on a lucky win against City. We progressed on penalties against Coventry, and a single game against City should have little significance. At the end of the day, look, we beat Liverpool, we beat City in the FA Cup. You deserve to win the FA Cup, and Ten Hag deserves his plaudits from that. I just don't forget about the other stuff. That's reality, and I think that's fair. And everybody knows that. Wilcox did tell Ten Hag to play more compact after the Palace game. If he did, then Ten Hag's not the right man, is he? If he's been told what to do, he's not the right man. I can't see that personally. I think Ten Hag has actually realised, I'm going to give him a bit of credit, and he's realised that he got it wrong. Drastically wrong this season at Manchester United. And he stumbled upon something in the younger players, which have helped him and bailed him out a lot and kept his goodwill with the fan base, I feel. But also in playing Amrabat, a natural holding midfielder, a destroyer, and finding something within his squad. And lucky enough having Martinez back right at the end to get a positive end to a season. And it is 2 trophies. 2 trophies in 2 seasons cannot be sniffed at in a lot of the football world. But when you deep dive and look in depth at everything that's gone on. It reads a completely different story. Personally, I think Ineos are dragging things out until Southgate is available, says Roger. The news this morning, Roger, was that that isn't the case now, and Southgate does not fit into the timescale of things. And let's be honest, we'd practically be ready to go. What's happened to my thing here? Where's my screen gone? I've somewhat there. What the hell is going on? I've lost my screen right now, guys. I have no idea what is happening. I can't see you. I think the show is still going on, but I can't see you because my screen has completely gone down. So let me just try and find what's happening. Someone is effectively trying to get on Netflix on my TV. I think someone's using the remote and it's affecting my TV upstairs. I've got you back on. I can see you all. That was a bit of a worry. I thought the power had gone out again on me there. Heaven forbid. John James, some may not realise or remember we came 11th twice and 13th under Sir Alex. John, honestly, we cannot keep on comparing Sir Alex Ferguson to the Ten Hag era. It doesn't work the same. Football is not the same. And I understand what you're saying. Patience, yes, patience. But you have to look at it from a point of 3rd to 8th is a sign of losing control. Not going from where he was and slowly gathering pace and getting up and closer and then hitting it off with the team that he built. We built a team which Ten Hag got something out of, then that same team with his players made us worse. That's the difference in this. There was always a little bit of progression beforehand, but with Ten Hag, the drastic fall-off is the concern, nothing else. And some people will just ignore that because we won the FA Cup. And again, it goes back to the point I just made, like cups are cups. Yes, and they do count, but the big ones count more. Premier League and Champions League count for more. Football News SA. Adam, probably he was trying to be positive. He knew he did not have good enough players, but he needed them to turn up. Remember, most of those players down tools numerous times under many managers. So, again, it goes back to what I said. And this was my whole argument with the final. We won. It was brilliant. Everyone said, look what Ten Hag can do. And I said, well, look what the players can do. If you're going to give Ten Hag the praise, why are you not giving the players the praise? The players were the ones that you have been all going on about as the excuse, not Ten Hag. Rashford, McTominay, the players that need to leave this summer. They turned up in the final, so should we keep them and Ten Hag now? You have to decide. Like, you can't flick from one excuse to another. You have to just look in reality at what has actually happened at Manchester United this season. And we have played shit football. It's not been organised. And I think this is what Ineos must have been looking at, and why I'm going in on Ineos more than Ten Hag right now, because they were there for a big chunk of them games finishing that season. They seen how crap we were. And for them to be judging this whole review off of one game, and their minds being turned after one game, which is all I can make. I find myself feeling like I'm talking absolute nonsense in saying that the FA Cup has turned Ineos' heads, but I'm trying to figure out what they're actually doing and what the process is here. Like, can they get Ten Hag to do what they want? Will Ten Hag be a coach? Has he offered to them what Tuchel probably didn't want to do and other managers didn't want to do? For me, Ineos are coming across like they want to run the show. And Ten Hag, for me, I think Ten Hag has accepted this because he wants to be at Manchester United. Other managers like Tuchel have now said they don't want the job at Manchester United. Poch isn't right. They haven't seen any other candidates jump out at them. It may just mean that these other candidates, these other managers, have not accepted Ineos' lay of the land and the way that they want to do it. These managers are managers. They're not head coaches. This is why I think conversations sway to Southgate, honestly. Because they know he will do exactly what they say. I don't think De Zerbi will. Ten Hag, I think, is the only manager that said to Ineos, I will do this. He has to have. Otherwise, he'd be out of the door. Conversations would have been had with Ten Hag and Ineos. They said they had a conversation before the end of last season regarding targets, who needs to go, who needs to stay, and there was no agreement in that. Well, that was a worrying sign. I talked about that earlier on. But if Ten Hag is still here, he clearly wants to work with Ineos. And that's the one intriguing bit I've got with Ten Hag staying. Like, can you concentrate solely on doing what you did in them last couple of games of the season, in figuring out how to make United hard to beat and actually having a plan and how to attack teams? Because let's not forget, we got, goals in the last 3 games of the season. What was it? 7 goals in 3 games. That's not a normal Manchester United from last season. So we found something. And we can't say that, we could say that Brighton had nothing to play for, but Newcastle had something to play for, and obviously City in the FA Cup final to play for. Write this down, clip it if you want. Adam is actually building a defence for Ten Hag's last 3 games. So don't have a go at me for saying that I'm all out on Ten Hag. I balance every single sentence and argument that I have on this channel. That's what it's all about. I do see all of it, and then I weigh it up. So, honestly, I find myself arguing with myself because someone said before, like, did Wilcox get Ten Hag to change his style? If they did, then clearly Ten Hag isn't the right man. You have to agree with that. If someone else is telling you what to do in the last few games and that works, then you're not the right guy, are you? Clearly, you're not the right man. So that's how I judge that situation. If Ten Hag figured it out himself, which is what I think he did, more than someone else telling him, like, I can't have... Excuse me. I cannot have it that Wilcox came in and said, you need to do this to Ten Hag, and then it worked. No way. It just sounds ludicrous. So I'm thinking that Ten Hag has just found something at the end of the season, and it's just it solidified his spot as manager a tiny little bit more than what it was, because he was hanging on by a thread, and I think he would be gone if that final was a defeat to Manchester City. Adam, I hear you, but I've been watching since 81, and I just not used to the impatience nowadays. Look, patience is everything. So Jim has called for it as well. So Jim has called for patience while saying it's going to take 3 years. My patience is 5 years, seeing slight progression right now. I don't expect United to be challenging for the title for 5 years. So Jim is doing what he's doing now off the back of saying it's going to be all right in 3 years. Where's he getting that? Honestly, no. It still baffles me that now. It's still, like, it was a breath of fresh air listening to him in that interview. It was great, but still, come on, Jim. You know that this team is not going to be turned around in 3 years. And if this is the way you're starting it, then you are definitely not turning this team around in 3 bleeding years. Carol with a super chat. I would say at the moment watching Netflix is much better than watching the soap operas that is United. We should be on Netflix, to be honest. We should be on there, actually, top 10 on Netflix right now. The Manchester United Circus. Flash Talks. We have a technical issue with Jay, which we're trying to rectify and get him on, but it just does not seem to be working. And yeah, it's... Let's see. Yeah, he's still not come back in yet. Sorry, guys. Just had to do a little bit of a check there to see if Jay was anywhere near. We'll figure it out for next time. I do apologise, guys. He was going to be a big part of the show tonight, Jay. I'm gutted that I can't get him on. James Taylor says, it's crazy how you think over 60 injuries doesn't affect things. Martinez and Varane started 6 games all season. Varane was on the bench for 2 months. Don't forget that, James. And if you want to use one man as the saviour for United's season, then I go to Newcastle and Chelsea, who had more injuries than Manchester United, and were in complete chaos in the positions of them injuries compared to what we had, and both finished above us in the league, mate. I rest my case. I'm not having it. Injuries do play a part, but so did they for every other team around us, and they finished better than us. I find it sad that so many fans would rather finish 4th than win the FA Cup. That is modern day fans to old school, I think, Jonathan. Oh no, Adam, surely doesn't love Bridgerton. No, I don't. Like, Kaz watches that all the time. Not for me. No, not my cup of tea at all. I'm praying for a 3-year deal for Erik and an injury-free season, rid of at least 5 players, he says. Rid of 5 players? Nah. I can see more than 5. John James, why didn't tell him what to do those few last games? What he's been trying to do all season. No, in the typos there, it's not what he's been trying to do all season, I don't think, James, because we've been too open. And he came out and said it doesn't matter about conceding 20 shots a game. It does matter because we've had our worst defensive season ever. And I'm not falling for this. We had loads of defenders missing all season. We had enough defenders to cope with plenty of them defeats earlier on in the season. Let's not forget, Varane and Martinez started against Arsenal and Spurs earlier on in the season, and we lost both of them games as well. Do we not count the ones that they played in just to build the defence? You've got to be fair. You've got to be balanced in this. Winning domestic cups means something. You can't compare us to Barcelona. We are not comparable at the current stage. That's a discussion between Ferocious and Jarvis Cocker. Check them names out. If you look at the season as a whole, we lost to City. Attaching meaning to winning the FA Cup is what makes it truly miserable. Ooh, it's a damning one, that one, isn't it? FA Cup should be tied to a Champions League spot. It would make everyone care a lot. There is no prize to the FA Cup anymore, which is why people have lost interest in it. On to the strikers that we are being linked with. United to carry on business as usual, it's said, in the transfer market without the issue of Ten Hag, which is why a lot of people are getting a little bit pissed off, including Ten Hag himself, according to certain sources. All these things are going on. He's going to be the man in the dugout, apparently, as it stands at the moment, with no say on what's actually going on. It is crazy. It is. But in the poll right now, we have 4 strikers. Who is the best? Who would you go for? We've got Robbie, Xerxes, Tony and David. Robbie at 8%, David 10%, Xerxes 27%, and Tony 55%. If you are just joining the show at 9 o'clock tonight, I have a special player profile video going out on Xerxes, my thoughts on him and why we are in for him. I'm going to be doing a bit more of that over the transfer window just to break things up a little bit. Some interesting points in that, so go and watch it later at 9 o'clock. There's nothing else on, so you might as well go and do it. And let me know what you think as well, because I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow as well with your reaction to the Xerxes one. Hi Adam, can someone tell Ineos we are United, not the latest edition of the FIFA or PS? Pro Evolution Soccer. Yeah, I remember that game. And yeah, those strikers that I've just mentioned there, them stories are circulating right now. And I'm going to go to the one from Rob Dawson, which is down there below as well. Manchester United have drawn up a list of striker targets ahead of the summer transfer window that includes Ivan Toney, Jonathan David and Joshua Xerxes. On top of that, Ivan Toney and Jonathan David are particular interest to Manchester United as striker options because they are about to enter the final year of their respective contracts. United and Ineos trying to be savvy with their business in the transfer market, as we expected them to be. I don't think that's going to be any surprise to anyone that Ineos are trying to sort of get a cut price deal on anything they possibly can. Adding a striker to the current squad is a priority for Manchester United, regardless of who the manager is next season. That from Rob Dawson again. Manchester United are reluctant to meet Everton's asking price for Jarrad Branthwaite, which sits at in excess of 70 million. Radcliffe believes United are the only serious suitors for him this summer, so he does not want to be drawn into a bidding war against himself. That's from Alex Crook of Talk Sports. And then the latest one, which is what we're going to discuss and move on with the forward side of things. This is just a bit of a transfer update from what's been said. Manchester United have monitored Brian Brobby, although much of their interest has been driven by Erik Ten Hag. Let's get off the Brobby page then. And I'm pretty certain why that is Brobby, bottom of the list in our poll, which is running live right now. So you look at that and you go, Brobby? No, definitely not. If it's Ten Hag pushing it, then sorry, no. I want a proper structured recruitment, scouting, everything involved in bringing this striker into Manchester United. And the reasons why, I mean, I'll talk, like I said, I've got a video on Xerxes out at 9 o'clock, but the reasons why Manchester United have to get the right striker is that we don't create many chances, as we know, and we have to finish them chances. So we need the best that we can get that's out there. And I think we need another striker that is going to be open to grafting and doing the hard chores and the press. Like, I don't know if Ivan Toney fits into that for me. I don't know if he will be part of that press going forward. He seems to be more of a target man that just sits in and is disciplined in his position, holding the ball up and linking players. Now, there is an advantage to that for us because we have been more threatening down the wings so far this season. So I look at that as the positive for Ivan Toney. Jonathan David just keeps improving over in France, and I think he's ready to make his big move. I think he will be playing Champions League football for one of the big guns next season. Whether it's Manchester United or not, we will have to wait and see. But honestly, I do think he will get his move. I don't know. There hasn't been enough noises for me with Jonathan David in terms of real interest from Manchester United. I just don't see us being that invested in Jonathan David as we are saying Ivan Toney. I know the deal side of things, the contracts, we will get David, I think, cheaper probably than most of the other strikers on that list. And that's important as long as it's the right striker. Like, if it's the best deal, then good. But look past that and make sure it's the best player. The best in class is what everyone is going to stick to. That whole speech, best in class of everything, Sir Jim Radcliffe. That is what people are going to be clinging on to right now. And that goes for players as well. Like, you make your target list. You go through that whole target list. Like, is Jarrad Branthwaite the best defender? No, I don't think he is out of the lot. It's an argument, but I don't think he jumps out and says, I'm the best. And with the price that he is, I would move away from him and go elsewhere. Jonathan David, I don't think he's the best of the striker bunch that we've got either. But all of these strikers, apart from Toney, fit the mould of the profile of player. I don't see us going for Toney. He's coming to the end of his career, and whether or not his contract situation is coming to an end and he's going to be easier to get at a cheaper deal, he doesn't fit the younger profile of player that we are looking for, apparently. And there is no future in Ivan Toney. It's a few seasons and then you're done. Wasted money on an investment on a younger player, in my opinion. And I think Toney will also be thinking, like, I'm 29, I've got one more move to make. It's not going to be United because there's no guarantee I'm going to be playing at the top level. Let's not forget, Toney's going to the Euros. He's going to be playing with the best. And when he comes back, he'll expect to be playing at the best level as well. I think, personally, Toney will end up at either Arsenal or Spurs. I mean, that's the sort of club you'd be looking at. Push more towards Arsenal. Arsenal are well in for Xerxes as well. After obviously Sesko was announced today, who United were interested in. Sesko has announced today that he is signing a new improved contract at RB Leipzig. So he is not leaving Germany. He is stuck there, and now everybody else is scrambling around in a smaller pool of strikers because it was pretty much nailed on that Sesko was going to move, and now that's changed. So he's done the Erling Haaland job. He stayed one more year in Germany, so expect Sesko to leave next season, probably. That's the way it works in them situations. There will be a new buyout clause within that contract with a gentleman's agreement for Sesko to move on to another club, bigger club, the following transfer window. That's pretty much what happened with Haaland. I think it's the same again. German clubs protecting their assets and their finance and interest on that side of things. So that will happen there. Does that push Arsenal into a few more of our targets? And is that a bit of a worry with United? Because Arsenal can offer more. A more settled team. A bit of an icing on the cake in terms of that striker going to Arsenal. Like the finished article, just needed another goal scorer in. Whereas at United, like, I explain all of this in the video at 9 o'clock. That my biggest concern. I'll let you watch that and see what you think about it. My thoughts on what our issue is in attracting a decent striker this summer. But yeah, they're the so-called targets and transfer news floating around right now all over the media and social media. And I'm going to get into some of your questions on them as well. Kane isn't cursed. He was blocked from signing for United for years. Daniel Levy was the one that stopped Kane signing for United. Even Varane, with his 16 games from the start last season, has more than Elise with 14 games from the start. Elise has got injury problems. Look, Elise, let's just put aside. He does like United. He would jump at the chance of going to United. We know this. But we have to move away from him. He is not our priority right now. And if Chelsea come in and take him in the next couple of weeks after Friday, because that's when the transfer window opens, and we really can't buy anyone significantly up until July the 1st, as we know with the transfer financial fair play situation and everything, that we shouldn't be surprised. Like, just don't get overly worked up about Elise, is what I'm saying. I just don't see Manchester United busting a gut to get a player that isn't a priority position. They would love him. And if Elise wants to wait out the transfer window and see what Manchester United can do, I'm confident we can get him. And I would love him in the team. But I think Chelsea will pull out all the stops now, knowing the situation United are in, and then go and take over that situation and take Elise to Stamford Bridge. And again, I think they can guarantee him more game time, where we can't. You have to dislodge Marcus Rashford and Garnacho, two players that Ten Hag is notoriously not keen on dropping. So Elise isn't going to get the guaranteed game time he wants. Whereas at Chelsea, I think he would. The benefit we've got with Chelsea coming up against us is that they are not in serious European competition either. So that is a plus. Cheers for the over 200 likes, guys. Really appreciate that. Keep them likes coming in, everybody. Make sure you're sharing the video and you are hitting that subscribe button so you can get involved in the chat. When season starts, United 0, players signed 2 loans. A lot of laugh. Not sure what that means. But Groovemaster says, well said, Daryl. Hart, how can we easily forget all of last season apart from the cup final? We can't, and we shouldn't. We should have a balanced argument about what last season was. Josh says, I don't know whether to admit that I love it as well, or whether you're being sarcastic and he hates it. All right, conversations, not football related. You lot are just off your heads. Like, mods, you're having a bit of a giggle to yourselves again, aren't you, a bit? I know you are. Kaz has put a super chat in, that's why. I've not even seen it. Adam, what time is Love Island on at? Why did you have to tee everybody up with that stupid comment? Like, seriously, that's just, it's petty and it's, I got no idea what time it's on. Honestly, and I won't be watching it. So, no. Thanks for getting the chat all giddy, Kaz, with that one. I think I'll take that £2 and go to the corner shop and get some sweets. Oh, right. I've seen people talking today as well about where Manchester United's budget for the summer is coming from. How many times do we have to explain this? Like, it comes in structured payment schemes and balancing payments over a longer period of time. No one goes out and buys a player outright. It's about balancing the books with PSR, bringing players' wages down, bringing the agents' fees down, and not spending over the top for shit players, which we do continuously, it seems. That's going to stop. So where the budget comes from is a structured transfer window where you will be paying installments of 3 years for certain players. We worked it out, the financial experts worked it out that to buy £100 million player on 200 grand a week, it cost 30 million a season. So United effectively can go out and buy 3 £100 million players if they wanted to on 200 grand a week. This is where I think Manchester United's budget is going to be. So you calculate us never buying a player for 100 million. It's not going to happen under Ineos. We just can do financially. And us not paying 200 million in wages, 200 grand a week in wages, and how many players we can actually get for that. The poll has actually closed up a tiny little bit onto 28% on Xerxes now and 54% only on Tony. Although Tony does take up over half the vote of a 4-man vote, so he is still a massive favourite. Are we picking Tony simply because we know him and he's played in the Premier League? Is that where everyone in the chat is going with it? Is that your reasoning behind picking Tony over the other 3 strikers? Do we actually know enough about the other strikers? I'll tell you what you need to do. Go and watch, like I said, I'm not just bigging up the video constantly, although I am. Go and watch the 9 o'clock video that's coming out on Xerxes and see if you agree with what I say on that one, is all I'm saying. Like I said before, extra bit of content there, guys. If you haven't already, drop in the description, click on United Couple, me and Kaz episode 8. That's out as well. Go and subscribe to the podcast channel and watch the latest episode there, guys. SofaScore and Optimally Me, our sponsors, are both in the chat below, guys. The links are there and the QR codes are on screen. Free to look at, SofaScore, free to download. Brilliant. All help going towards building the channel as well, guys. And our Euro Dream Team is open, guys. Announcement tomorrow on what is happening in the Euros, guys. I promise you, tomorrow evening's show, I will fill you in on the Euros plan ahead of Friday, the opening day. Drop in the description below if you want to join the FUTV Dream Team Fantasy Football League. It's there. Get your teams in. The link is in the description, guys. Completely free. Prizes for the winners at the end of it. League table, all formatted out. Follow the instructions. Simple link. Download it. You can get the app on your phone as well, so you can keep checking on it and change all of your team on the app as well. The link is in the description, guys, and that will give you all of the answers to how it works, the format and everything like that. I'm sure you've all done things like this before, but we're going to have a bit of fun. Everyone calls me out for my football knowledge, and players, let's see if you can beat me in Dream Team. I'm putting my neck on the line, so I think you guys should as well. Adam, to be honest, I choose Tony because I don't really know these guys. Well said, Michael. Fair, honest, and I think is what a lot of people don't want to say, but at least you're honest about it, mate. I wouldn't have any of them in that list. I'd go for Tell or Makoko. Everyone's got opinions. Everyone's got favourite strikers. A lot of people would look at people were looking at bigger strikers than that list earlier on. Like you've got to look at Gyökeres. Sesko was on that list as well. Xerxes been on it for a while. To be honest, Tony has as well. There are other strikers that Manchester United are also looking at, and I think we just got to look at where we're at right now, the whole video and what we've done, break it all down and say, look, business as usual, is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's a good thing, but annoying at the same time because we still haven't got an official... Well, we have got an official manager, but nobody really knows what is actually happening. That's the annoyance about it. If Ineos are bringing in their players and not committing to Ten Hag needs to go rather sharpish. Cheers for that, Tom, as well. The link for United Couple is in the chat as well. I'll just pin that up there for the last couple of minutes of the show. That is right at the top of the chat there. I'm going to end the poll around about 6,500 votes tonight. Thank you, guys. That is mega. And, yeah, 53% of you would pick Ivan Toney as the striker out of the bunch that we're linked to at the moment in the media. The only striker I would go for is Victor Gyökeres. We need quality, not quantity. Got to go now, says Andrew. Have a good one, Andrew. We're all on our way as well. And no, I'm not going to watch Love Island. I'm going to put something decent on, actually. Yeah, I got to go and deal with Kaz, honestly. Come on and smash those likes and subscribe, peeps. Thank you, John. Absolute brilliant tonight with yourself and your comments coming in. Love all the interactions, everybody. It would be nice to see more goals scored next season. Something needs to be done to address that, says Jonathan before we finish up. Yes, it bloody does need to be addressed. We need more goals. Once the Euros start, that will affect who people are looking at. Remember, Schick had a decent tournament last go around and he was the one everyone was looking at and then forgot about him fairly sharpish. The Euros will determine a lot of the transfers that go on. They will. Except the one that I'm talking about in the video at 9 o'clock tonight. Go and watch that one, guys. Extra content for you all. Just because I love you. I know you love all the content because there's nothing else going on right now. So you might as well watch it. But that's it, guys. Please give the video a like. Let's get 15 more in on the way out so we can hit that 250 mark. Fantastic show, everybody. Really appreciate all of your input, new members, super chats and everything. Sorry that we didn't get Jay on 2 nights in a row. That's ballsed up. Really disappointed because there was a really good show lined up tonight with Jay, and gutted about that. But we make the most of it, everybody, and we will be back and we'll try again tomorrow, hopefully. But for now, like, share and subscribe. Have a great evening, everybody, and I'll see you all later on. Don't forget, 9 o'clock, extra